Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone who's viewing this lecture. Um, we had talked about strategy development in the last lecture, and we had talked about what are the basic elements that are required in developing a strategy. Obviously, that is not an exhaustive list. There can be a lot of other things that can be added, but just to have a good, having a good strategy or a good start to making your strategy, or that is what the basic elements would be required for making that. Now, in this lecture, let's look at different how do we develop the strategy and what should be our strategies. In this, we have a lot of different frameworks that are available to us. I'll just go through a list and give you an overview of all of them, and we'll just uh, have look at all of them, and then I'll go in more detail into one particular framework, which will give you an idea of how a strategy is then constructed. Okay. So first of all, we have the BCG based strategies, which are build, hold, harvest, and divest. That's one framework, the BCG based strategies. Then we can have the TOES matrix, the threats, opportunities, weakness, and strengths matrix. Okay, which is and this you have it listed here. You have gone through this in your previous courses, but for somebody who's doing BBA, so this would be new. So we have strengths, weaknesses on one side, okay, and on the other side we've got environmental opportunities and environmental threats, and based on their interaction in these quadrants, you see that we have these four different areas of strategic orientation, if we can call it. We can have the SO strategy, which is strengths and opportunities. So opportunities that are geared towards your strengths. So based on that, you can make a strategy. Okay, you can have a weakness and opportunities strategy. That's a whole strategies that you can create. You can have a strength threat ST strategies, and you can have weakness and threat strategies or frameworks that you can create. Okay. Uh, Next one is asset and competency based framework, which looks at assets and competencies on one side, and we have market attractiveness. Okay, and this is creating now 9 quadrants that we have, um, and it is also giving you of if it's like giving you the strategy that based on what your assets and competencies are and what the market attractiveness is. Okay, based on that, it will then recommend a strategy for you as well. So for example, if your market attractiveness is low and your asset and competencies are weak, then this is definitely exit. Okay, and on the very opposite side, if your market attractiveness is high at the bottom, if you look at it, and your assets and competencies are strong, okay, then you come to invest heavily to leverage advantage and deliver greater customer value. Okay, so based on that of how you analyze based on your analysis, you can use this particular framework as well. Then the next one is GE matrix, developed by General Electric, very famous company if you know about it. In we have in this we have two areas, okay, or two basic areas of two basic factors in which we are analyzing. We have competitive position, and you have industry attractiveness, and then based on that, there are three options in industry attractiveness. You have low, medium, high, and competitive position. You have strong, medium, and weak, and based on where your particular company is falling or your particular product that you're looking at is falling, then based on that you can uh, develop those type of strategies that are there are three basic strategies that are listed in this as well. So which is invest for growth, manage selectively for earnings, and harvest or withdraw. Okay. Next framework is shell matrix. In shell matrix again, we have two factors, which is prospects for sector profitability, and in the x-axis, and on the y-axis we have enterprises competitive capabilities. Okay. Now, obviously, to get to these prospects for sector profitability and enterprises competitive capabilities, you need a lot of data and information and a lot of depth analysis for you to be able to judge of what um, where your company is or what the particular situation is with regards to these two factors that we have listed here. Okay, so And in this again, we have these three options. And in your enterprise competitive capabilities, you have a strong, average, and weak. These are the three options there. And in prospect for sector profitability, you have unattractive, average, and attractive. And based on that, wherever your company or wherever your product or SBU or whatever you are using here falls, which in whichever quadrant it falls, this is a recommended strategy that is already given here. Okay. So this was then we have Porter's strategies or Porter's generic strategies that we have. Let's go forward to that. And there are three main ones, and you can read about that in detail. Okay, we have cost leadership, we have focus, we have differentiation. Okay, and there is a combination of these as well for focus, differentiation, cost leadership. Uh, okay, so these are the three basic ones that are there based on Porter's generic strategies. Okay. In terms of now, these are different frameworks that are available to us in for developing a strategy or coming with an overall strategy, and we are obviously coming up with an overall strategy for the organization that will be translated into our marketing strategy in the next lectures. Um, but I will elaborate the you can call it the easiest one to conceptualize, easiest one to understand. If you understand the basic concepts in that, then obviously you'll be able to move and try out the more complex ones as well. The easiest one or the least complex one are the BCG based strategies. It is recommending there are four strategies that are there. Um, we have build, hold, harvest, and divest. Okay, when we talk about build, okay, build means that you are going to increase. Okay, if we take level of investment, okay, or the amount of investment as our point of reference, then build would mean that you'd increase your level of investment, or you would increase the actual investment in the company, okay, or actual investment in the product, whatever your frame of reference is. Okay, so build would mean increase. Okay, and when you say increase your level of investment or like increase your investment, that would then definitely translate into physical operations as well, in terms of maybe developing a new product, in terms of increasing infrastructure, in terms of increasing marketing activity, in terms of maybe hiring more people, maybe in terms of getting new machinery, increasing your production, um, as well as trying to find newer markets or increasing your outlets or increasing your marketing activity. So this is what build would translate into. In build, things would happen. Okay, these are some examples of things that can happen in when you apply the build strategy. Okay, then we have hold strategy. In hold strategy, what happens is that we have in hold strategy, if we talk about it, hold means to maintain your level of investment. Okay, to maintain your level of investment or put the same amount of money that you had put in the organization, okay, previously. Okay, so for example, let's say if you had invested 100,000 rupees in your company last year or in the last strategy development frame, then in this one you maintain your level of investment. You put 100,000 rupees. Okay, that would be holding your position, holding your level of investment. Okay, that means again more money is coming in, and that would be spent obviously in terms of more some activity that would be happening in the company as well. Okay, so this will also translate into activity. Okay, then I'll jump to the fourth one, which is divest. Okay, divest is the opposite of invest. Okay, when we say invest, that means putting in more money. When we say divest or divestiture, that means taking out money or taking out your investment or taking out your the amount of finances that you're putting into the company. Okay, so when we say that uh, uh, the strategy is to divest, and divest means that let's say if you had invested 100,000 rupees in the company this year and you want to divest, that means last year. So this year, if you want to divest, that means that you will be taking out 50,000 or 80,000 or 100,000, depending on how much you want to divest. Uh, Taking out that amount of money or taking out that amount of finances from the company, and obviously that could be in the form of capital, could be in the form of infrastructure, it could be in the form of reducing the operations of the company, maybe selling out machines, maybe uh, reducing the number of products, maybe in terms of reducing your services to different customer groups or to certain geographic areas. Okay, so there could be many possibilities that can be there. Okay, but definitely the idea is that when you're taking out your investment from a company, then that will definitely have some physical consequences. Okay, then let's come to the third one, which is harvest, which is probably quite interesting. Harvest means to put to decrease your level of investment, okay, but get the same or more amount of profits, okay, from the company. Okay, it's just like harvesting. When we talk about harvesting, what happens in harvesting, or if you talk about what happens when crop is grown. So when crop is grown, a farmer keeps on investing into the crop. Okay, by first of all preparing the land, tilling the land, then putting in the seeds. Okay, then putting and you are now investing and you're not getting a return. Okay, you just the farmer is putting in things. Okay, he's putting his activity, he's applying his activity by tilling the land, by sowing the seeds. Okay, by giving water, by giving what you can say fertilizers, and then sprays, pesticides, whatever, in order to. But this is all investment going in. Okay, and at the end, what happens? You have a crop that is ready. Okay, then when the crop is ready, this is the time when it will give you the most benefit, or the farmer gets the most benefit out of it. But he still has to put in something. Okay, so you have to harvest it. In harvesting, you would be obviously having harvesters or hiring people or whatever the way. There will be some money put in, but the benefit that is coming out of it is the maximum at this point. So this is the concept of harvest. Okay, so in harvest, what happens? The idea is that you have a momentum that has been built by doing some investment. The company is now has gained its momentum, and it is now going in this particular momentum, and you now do not need to put in a lot of investment. You can decrease your level of investment, but because of this self-generating, self-perpetuating system that you have created, okay, you are now getting returns. Okay, and the returns would be much higher, okay, as compared to what you were getting before, and or as compared to when you were investing a lot of money for developing the system, for developing the infrastructure. Now you just have to maintain it, but the return is going to be higher. Okay, so that's the concept of harvest that is there. Okay, now how would we select uh, how would we select a particular strategy? Okay, for that we'll have another lecture for this. Okay, right, thank you very much. Have a nice day.